Good evening, Hyperspinners. Today we're going to be showcasing some of the side art of my main cabinet, so get ready. And this is something that I've been wanting to do for many years now, and I finally have the art that I'll be replacing it with. I designed it myself. With a little help from some of the ideas that Middle Zoic from Hyperspin's forums has provided. And you can see here are some of the assets. There's a number of them, and I'm going to just slowly add these and document as I go. So one thing that I have done is I've put in the, I want to say the keyboard tray art, so to speak. It's basically just a console, if you will. I've already started taking off some of the I don't know, the extra accessories here to actually get this thing up and running, but I am really happy with how this looks. So all this is a history of, you know, some consoles or what have you. And yeah, it used to be just a black piece of wood, and it is looking fantastic. So there's going to be a lot more to come here, and I will slowly document as things go. So man, this is exciting. I will keep you posted, and we will showcase the next section. All right, before we go and start taping up the side art, here's the panel art. I designed it all myself. And yeah, it's got a nice outline. Here, we'll kind of zoom in. We've got the button numbers and what some of these admin buttons actually do. I'm using this third joystick as sort of a instruction card or bezel changer. And then we've got a pause button, save and load. We've got the spinner, and then we've got the volume up and down. So down below is sort of a legend for buttons. So I'm getting a LED blinky set up, and the colors will be representative of the actual, button. So A is always going to be red, B is always going to be yellow, basically, and then we'll just position that on the cabinet. Something that I didn't really think of, maybe I should have, I don't know. So ABL, so like especially with SNES, I mean, maybe the ABL should be on the second row, and XL, or XYR should be on the first row here. But yeah, it would just be flipping of these rows basically to basically match the controller. But what's weird here is the ones that are, the two buttons. Like if we're looking at the 6 buttons on the control panel, A and B would be on that second row then if we were to do that. So I had to kind of pick and choose, and that's why I ended up choosing this. But what's going to be great with the LED blinky, I'm going to be able to set the buttons up however I want, and red is always going to be that associated color for A. So yeah, had to think through that, but I feel like this is the best way on displaying that, just as another resource. If the game's representative of a certain letter, push the B button, that yellow is B. So I wanted to include that in the side art, or the panel art. So that is that, and we are going to start putting this puppy down so you guys can kind of see what that whole process looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this video, and I'm going to start taping this up, and I'll kind of get bits and pieces along the way so you guys can see how I did it. Alright, so as you can see, I've prepped the side art. I've just cut the edges off the best that I could. I've also got scraps off to the side. Those are going to be used as essentially the sticker to hold the side art in place. And there's a squeegee. You'll need that to basically press the side art on there. You'll have a lot of scraps, as you can see in the top right, as you're doing this, and then you'll need an X-Acto knife to basically make your cuts. So You can see there's a little curvature at the top. That doesn't matter, it's all going to be pressed and sealed. And what you want to do is just lay out the side art for a couple minutes to just you know, flatten it out as best as you can. So let's go and get this taped up. You'll want to tape all the borders just to keep things in place, I found. Otherwise you will get wrinkles and they'll be hard to get out. So let's go ahead and finish this off. Alright guys, I've put a lot of the artwork on my main cabinet, so let's go ahead and take a look at some of this, and I'll probably do a brief tutorial on putting some of the side art on, so I can kind of help you guys as well. So let's go and showcase this. The panel is the original form. I'm getting RGB buttons that are coming in the mail. It's going to be great, and the side art is, or sorry, the panel art is going to be removed. Right now I've got a lady with 6 eyes, red eyes, always looking at me, and I didn't really like that. So this is going to be replaced, and I've got the actual art that I'll kind of showcase here in a second. I'll try to unroll the vinyl out so you can kind of see it. And this is the side art that's in its current state that I will be doing a brief tutorial on. You can kind of see it's some dude playing a saxophone. I really did not enjoy it, but you know, for what it's worth, you know, I found this at a furniture store and it's just time to upgrade. So what you can see is along the side here, I've basically got this basically theme going. It's just the logos, and you can kind of see that across the board here as well. And this is the speakers are wrapped with it as well. It kind of took some time because I had to, you know, remove each one of those holes. It was kind of a pain, but I think it turned out pretty nice. So it's kind of hard to see just based on the lighting here, but you can see the logos quite well there. So I'm going to go ahead and move on down to the bottom here. So I've got a keyboard tray, and this is where it gets pretty cool. So what I also did, so I found a friend that basically has one of these printers, and what I did was I just went crazy. So every bit of this cabinet is basically skinned. So this is just basically a brief history of all the consoles and a little description. So that is the keyboard tray, and then down here is the door. So what I've got are some marquees of just basically Mame, and then in the center I've got basically a list of systems as a whole. I mean, it says 25 plus systems, but I mean, let's be real, there's a lot more on there. So this went really well. I designed it myself. And then at the bottom, I've just got the Super Smash Brothers. I think this is from the Switch. It went really well. They've got a marquee that basically has all the characters. I mean, it's got everything that you could possibly ask for in terms of characters. So that's along the bottom there. And you know, why not? I'm gonna open up the cabinet here. It's gonna be kind of funny, guys. So here we go. We've got all of Mega Man's enemies, you know, just right there. So, I mean, why not? I mean, the dude has a printer that, you know, I took advantage of. So that went really well. So that's the inside of the door. Now here's the inside of the cabinet. I basically skinned it across the board, you know, top, bottom, everything, with those logos. You can see it's pretty clean here. So, yep, every bit of it, guys. So it is all skinned with this. Here's my PC, for what it's worth. Yeah, and yeah, I gotta clean those wires up. I'm gonna get some zip ties to really make this thing look nice. And yeah, that's the inside. and then we'll get to the grand finale, I guess, if you will. So the back of the cabinet also has, you know, the logos there as well. Let's see if we zoom in a little bit. But I mean, this whole thing is skinned. It's unreal. I love it. So now here's the side art, which we'll be doing a tutorial on putting on the other side. But everything is looking fantastic. I'll kind of do a zoom in here and then a zoom out of everything. So I wanted to get basically all the games that I love and really that are classics. And I found some fan art, and a lot of this came, I guess, bundled with Metal Zoic. He did something very similar, so I wanted to expand on that. And the fan art, I mean, is fantastic. I mean, there's just so much. We're getting to the bottom here. There it is. So I'm going to go and zoom out here, and you'll be pardon the mess. I mean, this has been I don't know, a couple weeks endeavor, inside and out. I mean, the whole thing is skinned, so I've still got to do the panel and the other side, but that's it. It's kind of going in and out of focus here, but you get the idea. Maybe call it overkill, but I love it, and that's all that matters. So that is the side art, and I'm gonna go ahead and show you how I'm gonna do the other side, just so it helps you guys. So I will pause this video and get that thing set up. All right, so I have now taped the entire cabinet. You basically just wanna get the borders all complete and just make sure everything's even. So I've got everything taped up on the sides, and what I did is I just took some extra stickers that you know, the guy that printed this off for me, and I just essentially taped you know, the corners to the actual artwork itself. So that's going to keep things in place, and I found that that is the easiest method. And what I'm going to do is take the squeegee, and I'm just going to work from the top here. I'm going to peel the back of this edge here, get the top part you know, flush here, and I'm just going to make these motions here. I'm going to go really slow. I'm going to go towards the bottom. I mean, this is going to take a lot of work here, so just getting all the bubbles out and just going through this motion, and just keep on pulling the back of the paper here is the best method. So you'll start at the top, and you'll just slowly start peeling the thing back. So I don't have another hand, so I'm not going to be able to show you the whole process, but I'll try to take bits and pieces in this video as I get through more, because once I get this top part secure on the sticker, you'll start seeing it's going to be easier to just kind of keep pulling back the back of that sheet while this is all connected. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and we will keep you posted. So I've peeled back the top part of this, and I've just unstuck the backing, and what I'm going to do is just fold this over, and then I'm going to place that onto the cabinet itself. So that's going to get me started here, and then I just slowly start peeling back that artwork. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this. All right, so you can see where I'm at here. There's a little crease here. That's where the back of the sticker is at. And what I'm doing is I'm just pulling back the excess. So this is the backing that I was pulling off, and I'm just pulling down. And as I'm pulling down, the crease, which is here, let's see if we can see that. So you can see there's the crease here, and as I'm pulling that down, I'm just using the squeegee here to just push that down. So that is all there is to it. It's a long, laborious process, but if you take your time and you keep everything taped up, you can see that, you know, I've untaped the edges here, and I'm, you know, pulling this down. So everything else is taped up here, and it's keeping everything in place. So that's why it's important to tape all the corners, otherwise everything gets off centered. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep going. Figured I would try to get the phone to just kind of propped up so you guys can see some of this. So I'm pulling back the crease in the back there, and then I'm just going straight down, just pulling it back, you know, 3 or 4 inches, and just making sure there aren't any air bubbles that actually go through here. So I'm gonna keep going. So I hit that crease there. That's where I want to make sure everything's secure. I'm gonna go on the edges there and pull that backing again, and let's keep on going. So I've got on both edges, I've got just a little bit that I'm pulling, so everything's nice and clean. Just pulling back a few inches. And we're almost done. It gets trickier the closer you get to the end, just because it's harder to really pull on it. So this is, you're going to want to save, I don't know, in my opinion, you're going to want to save like an hour or so of just dedicating yourself to this. Maybe I'm just really slow at this, but I don't do it for a living, and it is it's a chore to do it without any sort of air bubbles. There's probably easier ways to do it, but I wasn't able to discover how to do that. So that is about it. And let's see, I've still got some space on the video where you guys can see it in this propped up position. So here we go. And what's going to be really nice is when you start using the X-Acto knife, that's when the fun begins. There we go. This is why it's looking funny. We got, so in one of the corners, a little of the paper backing was not coming with the rest of the backing of the sticker. So there was an edge that wasn't being stuck, which is fine. It's fixed now because I just pulled it back. All right, so let's see, you can see everything is looking nice and crisp. And what I'm gonna do now is, you can see the bottom here is a hot mess. So I'm gonna basically just slice the back of that so there's less bubbling. I'm just gonna take an X-Acto knife and just kind of cut some of that off at the bottom, so I've got more room to work with. All right, so I'm more than halfway. You can kind of see I'm down in the lower part of the cabinet. You can see the crease is right here. That's the back of the, let's see if we can get it. That's the back of the sticker there. And if you've, you know, noticed before the video had started, maybe there's a little crease right here, basically where the wood is farther out here versus what's here. So you can see here, like, this is still not really sealed down, which is fine. That's the tricky part that we'll be discussing in a little bit, but basically I'm just focusing on you know, this side here, and I'm just slowly really making sure that this is a really good seal. This other side we'll be doing in just a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and finish this seal off. You can kind of see the excess of the backing is making this kind of bubble. You can kind of see it on this side here, and that's okay. We've got the sticker completely sealed on, so I'm going to be able to pull this thing right off. So I'm going to go and pause it and keep moving down on this. All right, so I sliced the bottom of that off in the back, so I've got more room to kind of play with here. So I'm going to go ahead and keep that video railing. And there's a little more that you can watch me kind of do. I've just got this propped up on a PC here. So I'm getting all the air bubbles out. Everything's looking nice in my opinion. I've done all the other sides of the cabinet. So I've done this a little bit to realize that things are looking good. I'm focusing on this one side that is further out than the other piece of the wood on the panel itself. And we are in the home stretch. And the fun part, in my opinion, is taking the X-Acto knife and going around the edges of the cabinet. It really makes it pop as you're removing the excess around the edges. So that is the edge there. Check the video to see how far that goes. Where are we at? Yep, so you can see the end there. All right, so I'm going to pause the video and do the base of this, and we're in the home stretch. There's the bottom. What I did is I just took the tape off of the top there, and then I just slowly poked at the edge of that, and you can kind of see. Let's see if I can zoom in there. I just poked right in there on the corner, just really slowly and gently, and eventually it gives way, and you can see I don't even have my hands on it. It's the T-molding is holding that on there. So it's between the wood and the T-molding, and I'm just gonna go slowly straight down here. So you can see that's it. So I'm gonna go and pause that and just go straight down the middle, and you will see the results. The best part, in my opinion, I've gone along the border for most of the cabinet. I'd say a little more than half. And we're going to start seeing this thing shape up here right before our eyes. All right. There we go. Yeah, it's looking nice. So I've already made the cut with the X-Acto knife. I mean, it's just falling off. I mean, that's how it should be. All right, so that's where I stopped there, and we are just gonna cut that edge off, but you can kind of see, you know, what we've got dealing with that on that corner, so it's looking fantastic. Let's do the other side. We stopped right on the edge. Yep. All right, I'm going to pause it and then keep going. Off the end of this right side here. Looks like that was just I was worried I was missing a piece and I was pulling it off, but it's just the Amtrak light gun attachment that I added. It's not bad. Looking forward to the Linden light guns. Those are coming out in October, hopefully to replace those Amtraks. I might have these up for sale for you guys if you'd rather have the Amtrak, but we don't know if the Sinnen light guns actually work yet, but we will soon know. It's a Kickstarter and it's looking fantastic. All right, so that is the one side. It is 100% done. Man, that's nice. All right, so now the hard part. Well, it's really not too bad, but you can kind of see the light there. That's the crease that is in the cabinet itself. That's the wood. And then there's an indentation here. We'll kind of look behind the scenes here. Let's see if I can pull this off here. I'm not really pulling it all off, but I'm just getting all the sticky part that's on this other end. Yeah, let's see here. I'm gonna put this down here for a second. probably good. All right, here we go. There we go. So as you guys can see, let's see if I can get the video here. As you can see, I've got basically this side that needs to be completed. Let's see if I can kind of show you what's happening. So you can see there's, here, best example is up here. So you can see there's a little lip there, that's by design, and we are going to account for that. And what we're gonna do is just take the X-Acto knife and run that X-Acto knife along the T-molding that's right along here, following it with my thumb. That's what I'm going to do with the X-Acto knife. I'm just going to go right down the T-molding and go all the way down. So that's going to basically allow me to press the other level here right on down. So I'm going to make sure that everything is pressed up as best as I can here, and then basically just like use my squeegee all the way over up until that point, and then just press that extra layer down once I get it cut. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and then I'll try to document some of this. Alright, you can see here I've used the X-Acto knife and sliced it right down the side there. And now we've just got to place this. So basically I'm going to be pushing down on here until it's even, and then once this edge is looking good, then we're gonna spread it across there. All right, so I pressed that on, and that looks fantastic. So you can see there's the little lip, and that is just by design. And remember, all I did was I plastered this side on first. I tried not to press on this side as much as possible, and then I just took the X-Acto knife and sliced it right there and pressed basically straight down. And so then I just squeegeed it, to the right, and everything is looking great. There's no bubbles, and that is what we're after. So this is just one last final touch on this. And what I like to do is I try to use the squeegee here and just push right along the edge there. And that is that. So just right around the T-molding, I just make sure I press down on it. And now we just got to finish off by using the X-Acto knife right around the edges there along the T-molding. This thing's done. Man, it's been fun. Go ahead and take this last bit off. So I took the X-Acto knife and I pushed it right up against the T-molding. Sorry guys, trying to actually see what I'm doing here. There we go. We'll fix that in a second. There's a little edge that, oh, there we go. Yeah, there's a little edge here I'm gonna fix, but man, that is fantastic. Man, that's so good. All right, so that concludes the cabinet itself. I'll do a final walkthrough once I get things all situated again, and I hope you enjoyed it. All right, guys, it's done. Outside of the panel itself, which I'll be doing once I finish the LED or RGB buttons, but look at that. So that is the final product. I got all this printed from the Custom Graphics one off Facebook. He does a great job, and this guy skins vehicles, you name it. So I believe this is the first time that he's had a a cabinet skinned, but you know, again, you know, he's just printing the material off. You've got to essentially do the design and, you know, send it over to him. But yeah, he will print this off really nice for you, and you know, it's very responsive. He provided a brief tutorial on how to do this, because let's be honest, I've never done this before, and it had turned out really nice. So there's the marquee itself. That is an awesome feature to add if you have the funds for it. Here's the inside again. So ridiculous. So might as well do this. So yeah, skin the inside. Believe it or not, that I did. Every square inch of this thing is skinned. And then the back here. Yep, there's the back. It's kind of hard to see, but it's just the logo. I mean, it's just a bunch of logos. So there you have it, guys. I recommend it. Custom Graphics 1. You can find them on Facebook. I'll put the link in the description below. And yeah, here's the panel itself. Every square inch. Well, if you guys do the same, definitely take photos, videos, whatever, post them on Facebook. I want to see them. This panel's got to go. I mean, she's got to go. All right, we will catch you next time, and we'll see you soon.